Most people roll into the Seder and they know this part. So then what's the point? We have to delve deeper to understand what's really going on. Every moment has a theme and every nuance matters. And when you go through it, you come out a different person. So that's what we're going to explore together. The themes, the lessons, the reasons, the purpose. Because that's what this is really all about. So the next step is Karpas. We take a little bit of vegetable. This Friday we use celery. I think the Ashkenazis use potato. Dip it in the salt water. Make the bracha adama. Have in mind to be yotze the maror. And that's it. Takes about a second. Why do we do it for? So I saw this idea originally from Rav David Foreman. And I did some research on it. And it's really incredible, this concept. Why do we dip the vegetable in? So the Medrash from Breisha says, V'yichu es ketonis Yosef, when his brothers sold Yosef, they took his coat, v'yeshchetu tzir izim, and they slaughtered goats, and they v'yit belu es haketonis bedam. They dipped, these are the words they use. The Torah said, they dipped it in blood. Interesting. The word dipping is being used in the story of Yosef and his brothers. The Talmud says, why were they punished for? They were punished because they sold them into the Eved. And in fact, the Torah says that the word Karpas is very much connected to ketones pasim. Right? That's connection there. The Shla says, Hatibol Harishon, the first dipping, hu zecher lektones hapasim shel Yosef. This Karpas has the, as the Torah says, connected to the ketones pasim, and we dip it to remember it. She'al yedei mechiraso nishtalshel shibud Mitzrayim. Now this is really important. Remember something. One of the main questions that people ask is, why did Hashem torture us? This you can ask that question forever. And there's no answer, by the way. I'm not trying to answer anything. But one of the great questions that people ask when it comes to the Seder is, we're thinking of Kodesh Baruch Hu for taking us out of Mitzrayim. Who put us in Mitzrayim? And we begin the Seder with the underpinnings of this specific question. It didn't even get asked yet, and we're already dealing with it. You know who put us in Mitzrayim? We put ourselves in Mitzrayim. We didn't even say a word yet. We're starting the process. Look how, this is incredible. Look, isn't this awesome? We're not even saying anything. It's as if Kodesh Baruch Hu's like winking, like, you know what? Like, remember the dip? Mm-hmm. You dipped the Kesonis Pasim. You dipped his coat in blood and you sold him as a slave, and because of that, I sent you down. You know, put yourselves in Egypt. You put yourselves in Egypt. The Medrash says, Amar lo Kodesh Baruch Hu, Ata macharte es achicha le'eved, chayecha shebanav yimcheru la'avdas. You sold your brother, we're going to sell you. In fact, the Or Chaim says, Im lo hayu mochrim es Yosef hayu Yisrael misgar mimakom acher v'lo haya yordan Mitzrayim. Right? We had to go through Gullus. We had to be through some period of exile. That was part of the Bris Ben Abisarim. We had to go through some period of disruption. Okay. Did it have to be Egypt? Did it have to be slavery and the craziness of what took place there? Why? Or Chaim? Well, because you sold your brother. That's why you went down. The Abarbanel says, Ki hagolos lo haya gezeres Hashem shevo dafka Mitzrayim. We had Gullus, but it wasn't Mitzrayim. Elu zeh haya ma'or shenaaseh al yedei mechiras Yosef. You know why we went down to Mitzrayim? I heard this the first time I heard this before. Look at all these sources. I couldn't believe it. By the way, I put this all into ChatGPT as some sources. It's a very complicated world, ChatGPT. You can't just use it. You have to be very careful to check it. But when you get some of the sources from it, you can look and see if the sources are correct. But it's incredible how many sources line up with this narrative. The Sfas Emes says, Haggalus haisa nimnas im haisa achdus Yisrael milatchila. You know what this is really about? You know what the first theme really is? The first theme, by the way, is also the entire theme. You know, it's interesting. I believe that the night of the Seder is the same night as Tisha B'Av. I have to check that for me. I believe that's true. Because it's the same issue. Galus and Geula. It's the same coin. It's just two different sides. Because what's driving it? What's driving it is Achdus. We begin the Seder, and right away, before we say one word in the Seder, the act of Karpas is setting a tone. First and foremost, we caused this. I'm not saying it would have been nothing, but we drove this. Our actions drove our punishment. Our actions drove our slavery. Our actions drove our exile. And it's not done in a way that's told you so. Hashem doesn't say it. He winks it. He hints it. He wants us to recognize it. This thing called sinas chinam is big. And our ability to look over to other Jews and to accept them for who they are. Now, we don't have to agree with them. But our ability to not be jealous of each other, as I believe he always says. Our ability to not get lost in me, in selfishness, in my way, and I want what you have. Our ability to recognize that we're all on the same team, and we're responsible for each other, and we're one unit. And that essence of Achdus, for the service of Hashem, is what is driving our Gullus and our Geula. Experiential education before we begin even talking. Karpas comes in and Hashem says, and we say to ourselves, remember Yosef? Remember what happened? This one little thing called dipping led to the entire thing we're going to read about in a minute, called Avdus. Where am I? Am I still self-centered? Do I still think that my family is supposed to service me? Do I look over to my neighbor or friend and want and expect what they have? Am I jealous? Am I happy for them? Am I still in a place where I can't support, take care, worry about people that are not in my immediate family? And I'm not saying that I own this. I'm not saying that I'm even good at this. This is half the stuff that the rabbi talks to me about being better and better and better. And the idea that Achdus is really holding back our Geula. And the Sfas Emes says it directly. Sfas Emes says, had we had Achdus, the Gullus would have been totally different. And we're here, in Gullus, on the night of Geula. Amazing, right? And we're sitting and saying, wait, this whole thing was driven by our lack of Achdus. Where am I? Have I been giving? Am I a giver? Someone came to my house last week. Someone came to my office. Someone called me. Did I care? Did I care about somebody else? It doesn't mean we have to give us an inch on our personal avoda. But where's my heart at? Do I really believe that we're one unit? Do I really believe that we're one people? Have I reached out to someone who doesn't have my background and shared with them the beauty of my Torah? Do I really believe that this infighting, this jealousy-driven activity is what's causing my own personal exile? The reason why I'm not fully happy is because I'm not good to my family, and to my wife or husband, or my children. And so by constantly, my passive aggressiveness, my self-centeredness, if I'm being honest, is just making my life miserable. That's why I'm not connected. That's why I don't feel like I have more. I can't give freely. What's really driving it? Collectively and personally. And if we delve into our lives and we're honest, we'll tell ourselves, we'll see that a lot of what's driving our challenges in life is this inability to be one with others, to give, to be open, to be one. And when I see us as one nation, we win together, we lose together, and I care, I tap into what real Geula is. And so we begin the Seder, lifting our cups. I want to Makadish the world, washing our hands. I want my actions to be pure, and then dipping. I want my Achdus to be enhanced. I don't want my heart to be self-centered. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us for this series. I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope that it enhances your Seder and brings you closer to Hashem. We have some cliff notes for you in case you want a Seder companion. You can download it. Check out the series and the downloadable stuff at pesach.us, pesach.us. And hope you have a great holiday, and may we see the full redemption soon.